Whether you keep them in your home or love to see them in theirs, these are the creatures that bring us all together.
Reptiles. We're going to be delving into the experiences of reptile lovers from around the block and around the world. This is the Reptile Talk Podcast. Boom! What is going on, everybody? Version of Brassman Reptiles.
And I'm Rob, and I'm keeping it real.
We're going to have one hell of a night tonight.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. It is going to be interesting. I'll say that.
So I'm super excited for tonight's episode. For those of you guys who might be watching on YouTube, you're getting part 2 of 3 for this week on Reptile Talk episodes. You're also hearing it first because if you're going to listen to the audio only, which is also totally fine, you won't catch this episode until next week. So if you're here watching on YouTube, you hear a few days, the weekish early. So woohoo! Congrats to you for checking this out. So yeah, I'm super excited for our guest tonight. If you feel so inclined and you want to, drop a super chat down in the comments. We will highlight those, and yeah, that can kind of guide whatever we talk about. And in the meantime, we're talking reptiles just because that's what's up. So, Rob, I've got to go run and lock a door real quick. So you want to introduce our guest for the evening?
Yeah, hell yeah. Are you going to put him on?
Okay.
I'm
on right now as we introduce him and I go run away.
Okay, so super pumped to have our guest on tonight. What's up, dude? We got Jacob Bratz from Longleaf Reptilia, and also the other guys podcast, the Herpetoculture Network guys over here. So, dude, how's it going tonight? How are you feeling?
Pretty good, man. Pretty good. Just worked all day and came home, cleaned snakes until later this. So, just rocking and rolling, man. Same old, same old. But feeling good.
That's what it's about.
Yeah, man, excited. Haven't been on another show in a while. So yeah.
In a minute. So it's due. It's time. It's time.
Yeah.
Dude, love it, love it, love it. So the people who might not have heard about you or don't know about you, what's been the build up? What's been the started from the bottom? Now we're here for you.
Oh, started from the bottom, now we're here. You mean like going way back, or like as of what's been going on recent? Because there's, that's the whole thing.
As far back as you want to take us, bro.
As far back as you want to take, as I want to take you. Well, I have just about the same stories everybody else for my beginning of obsession with dinosaurs and catching little stuff out in the field, but I didn't get serious about the hobby until after college, and then things changed a lot throughout my years of keeping. I spent some time in Texas, worked with a lot of geckos, lots of different snakes between pythons and colubrids. I kept a semi-large collection. Moved from Texas, I kept a smaller collection for a while. Expanded a little bit, and then going back about 3 years ago is when I started the Herpetoculture podcast with Justin Smith, and then that turned into the Herpetoculture Network, which is what we have now, and currently working with mostly pythons and colubrids. More specifically, West Popwing carpets with a few other side stuff, and then North American colubrids for a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and yeah. So that's kind of what it looks like now, and my story in a quick go around. I don't need to go all the way back. Everybody's got the same classic, catching snakes and lizards in the yard, loved dinosaurs when I was 7, blah. Yeah.
But man, you're rocking the Nefurus Initiative fucking shirt. I'm digging it. I love that shirt. I love the logo. It's so freaking cool.
Yeah, Phil killed it, man. The simplicity yet awesomeness of it is fantastic. So yeah, big shout out to Phil Wolf of the Nefurus Initiative, knobtails.ig on Instagram.
Boom. Hell yeah. Yeah, I saw that. I was like, dude, that logo is so perfect. It's iconic. You can just slap it on a t-shirt, on a sticker, on a car. It's there. I think too many people nowadays, they think too much into their logos and they make them too elaborate. And then it doesn't translate well on a t-shirt or on a sticker or like something. If you wanted to like put it on something small, like on the back of your phone or something, it's not going to go. Dude, that logo right there, boom, right on it.
Anything,
Really
no
is.
matter how big, how small, it's perfect, man. Yeah, he killed it with his logo.
Yep. And then you
So,
recently swapped from the different name that you were using before to Longleaf Reptilia.
yeah, that's how probably a lot of people will mostly know me as. I think if anybody's been keeping up, they might know the new name by now. But yeah, that's for a while. I was known as JLB Morelia. But I had a big change in life and the hobby, and I just kind of started fresh with everything, and I thought a rebrand was helpful because I was also expanding a lot in the collection. When I was doing the JLB Morelia, I was more focused on carpets and pythons, more Indo pythons, more specifically. But I've moved a lot more, even though I still am into those. I've moved much more into the North American Colubrid aspect of the hobby. And like I said, with that shift and that change and things just going on in my life, I thought it was fitting to start fresh everywhere. I had to break off my podcast for a while, and came back, and I just wanted to start fresh, so rebranded and rocking and rolling with a lot of new stuff, and yeah, so.
Hell yeah, man. I like it. I dig it. I know you were like a little, weren't sure about it, but I really like the new rebrand and I like the name Longleaf Reptilia. I really dig that.
Thanks,
Yeah.
man. Thanks. Yeah, it took a lot of thinking, a lot of time, but I wanted something that was more than just like my initials and reptiles or exotics, whatever. Which is fine if you want to do that. If I was looking for something a little different, and if you know me, I'm an avid field herper, and longleaf pine stands are. Yeah, yeah. No, I feel the same. I feel the same. But longleaf pine stands are something that I hold near and dear to me, so it's I thought it was fitting. Yeah, so we rock and
Hell yeah.
roll.
Hell yeah, dude. I'm a big into field herping too. It's so interesting to me to see like how much of a divide there is between some of the people who like field herp like almost exclusively and the people who like almost keep exclusively, and like a lot of people who keep, especially exotic stuff, a lot of the Southeast Asian stuff, there's a lot of those people who are like field herping, like why would I go do that? And then all the people do field herp and they're like, why would you keep a snake in your house? Like, it doesn't understand. But I really like people like you that kind of have an appreciation for both, where you can have some cool stuff at your house and then also you want to go find some cool stuff out in the wild, because why wouldn't you want to do that?
Yeah, absolutely. It is a big part of, especially as of recent. I've been doing a lot more recently. I've gone through so much gas road cruising and going around. But it's a big part of what I do. It's before I even kept snakes, I was looking for snakes. I was out road cruising with my friend's dad. My friend's dad was into snakes. He's kind of the reason I got into snakes. And he took me road cruising and stuff like that when I was a lot younger. So that goes way, way back. And then, I got older to where I could do it myself. And it just kind of stuck with it. I've been doing it since I could drive, really. So, but yeah. And I've always been, even when I wasn't looking, even when it was just finding stuff randomly, it was just the greatest thing ever, finding a snake even if I wasn't looking for them, and one just popped up somewhere. It's always great. I've always loved doing stuff in the field. Nothing beats it. It's definitely, I love it. Plus I've gotten more into photography as well, so that's another aspect of it all that I really enjoy. So.
Yeah, I think it's funny because a lot of people who like hatch out snakes are like, there's nothing that's as exciting as hatching out a snake. And it's like, I don't know, you ever find your target species that's super rare that you weren't expecting to see out of like all of this area where this potential reptile could possibly be, and then you find it?
Yeah.
That's That's right up there, man. Both of those
Yeah.
feelings are real tight, but ooh, man, that's up there.
Yeah, no, don't get me wrong. The first time I hatched, when I hatched my first clutch, don't get me wrong, I was ecstatic. I was almost in tears. I was so happy. It was a huge goal. But walking up on a 6-foot mud snake, whoa. That's a whole thing. So I mean, yeah, no, it was. Oops, keep my tripod here. But yeah, no, it's field herping gets my juices flowing just about as good as anything in captivity, man. It's so great. I had an amazing night the other week. We got a big storm. I found a bunch of different stuff, and it was just super cool. Yeah, because I just go by myself, man. I could be driving down back roads in the middle of the freaking night, just putting miles on
Hell
my
yeah.
bike. It's great. I love doing it. Go to WMAs, walk around, get destroyed by bugs, and it's fantastic.
Okay, I lied. That's not the best thing. Getting bitten by bugs.
No, man. Every time I go on like a hike, because like around here, man, like the bugs are atrocious. Like
Yeah.
some areas are really swampy, and it's so bad. I have some areas that are just like, it's not even just mosquitoes, like yellow flies and horse flies too, and those are like, oh my God. One time I couldn't even go pee one time, so I was getting swarmed. Like I was just trying to take, I was trying to take a leak. Yeah, dude, I was trying to take a leak in the woods, and it was just like, oh, it was terrible. It was terrible. I
No.
ran out of there. But yeah, no, every time I'm out hiking or something, I'm like, this is why I road cruise, because I don't. Because you also have those type of field herpers. You have the guys that are like, yeah, road cruising. Guys are like, no road cruising.
I don't really do it because you can't really road cruise up here. Like nothing goes out past nighttime up here. So if they do, you have to go to the habitat to see them. So nothing sits on the roads up here. So I've never road cruises until I went to Utah with that crew that I went through. And that's the first time that I've ever gone road cruising ever. Like I tried when I was in Arizona for a little bit, but I didn't know what the hell I was doing. So I probably drove past a bunch of different shit. But up here,
it's all about the time, because road cruising isn't good all the time. You can forget. This is the middle of summer. You can forget about road cruising. You got the beginning and the end of like your warm months to road cruise. Any other time, don't even bother. You're gonna waste gas. It's all about as soon as it gets warm and as soon as it starts getting cold. Then other than that, I'll go on like storms. I like to follow storm paths. Whenever we get low pressure systems or a lot of rain, that normally pushes stuff out onto the roads. So I watch the weather a lot to see when I want to go and plan a route. I have several areas I like to go, but everything's getting more populated, and I'm getting a lot more traffic on some of these back roads we used to not get traffic on, and that's really frustrating. Hell, but we work with it. It doesn't stop me. So.
Hell yeah. Is there like a favorite species that you got to find out where you're at right now?
Like a species I want to find? I've never found, I found the scarlet in Florida. I found scarlet in here. It's hard to come by. Coral snakes. I really want to find a coral snake around here. That's a bucket list species. And then I had another one in my head. The coach whips. The coach whip's a big bucket. That's a big bucket list.
Dude, when we went to Zoo Miami, last year with Ryan, we were riding the cart around the thing, and just like you just saw this thing take off. He's like, "Oh yeah, the coach whips are all over the place out here." You just see them for a split second, and they're gone.
Yeah, no, if I see one, yeah, it's gonna be you gotta be on your toes to get one in your hand. These things are ridiculous. Yeah, I know you guys have probably chased around the black racer before or something like that.
Yep.
Yeah. You say I know that's bad enough. I don't even know.
Yeah, it's unreasonable sometimes.
Yeah, no, I've gotten to the point where I'm like, I'm the black racer, and I'll get as close as I can, snap a picture, and just keep on.
There goes. Yep. I don't even try anymore.
No, man. Sometimes, like if it's like the beginning of the year and I haven't seen a snake, like yeah, I'll dive in the bushes after a racer. But you know, I'm not.
Nah,
Once
man,
I
I'm
got,
over
once I,
that now.
what, yeah,
I
yeah,
can't.
no, sure. What Morelia though? In the water every time. Doesn't matter.
Ah! That's the worst place to catch Nerodia because once they're in the water, you are outranked 10-1.
Oh yeah, dude. I've missed so many Newtork going into the water before. Ironic, but one of the biggest ones I've ever caught though was a diamondback out or a diamondback water snake out in Texas, and it was like sitting on like this log that was in the water. It was water on all sides. It was a log, but it was about 3, 4 feet from the edge of the bank. So I reached over and I was like crawling on my hands and knees trying to get over this thing. So I could tell it was big. I wanted to get it. And I went to reach for it and it started diving in the water. But this thing was so big, it took like a second for it to get its entire body off because it was just kind of like rolling. So I had enough time to grab this thing by the tail and I grabbed it out, and the snake was as long as I was. And like
Damn.
I was not expecting it to be that big. So I like fell backwards and it fell on top of me. I was like, what the fuck? I had to crawl out of these bushes. Thing was biting me all up. I was losing my mind, man. It was so cool. It was huge. Biggest water snake I've ever seen in my life.
We got some big northern water snakes up here that are probably pushing that like 4.5, 5 foot mark. And dude, catching one of those is wild because it's so much snake. And you're like, compared to most of the other species that are up here, like it just dwarfs everything except for like timbers and racers. That's pretty much it.
Yeah, no. With the water snakes we get around here, like we don't get like the big tanky ones that they get in like Texas and in your area. Here we get bandeds. I find bandeds and red bellies frequently, and like they average around 3 foot. Big female will be 4. I found a massive banded water snake last year, the biggest I've ever seen. It was like 4 foot, but she was like as big around as my wrist. She was massive. But the diamondbacks in Texas that I caught blew these out of the water, man. They're just absolutely huge. Diamondbacks are my favorite in the area. They're fantastic.
Yeah, Rombifer is cool.
Yeah, Rombifer.
Dude,
they're
my
awesome.
my dream is to catch some of the broad-banded water snakes from eastern Texas. There's some crazy-looking broad-banded water snakes in eastern Texas. Those like fire engine ones. Oh my goodness! Like I don't know if it's going to happen next year. I kind of want to make it happen next year, but I want to plan a trip to East Texas just to go for broad-banded water snakes.
Dude, I'd go with you just for that. Like legit, I've got like one of my goals is to catch like all the water snakes. Granted, not all the localities, like all the different kinds. Browns, bandeds, diamondbacks, all that. And I've got several. I've got red bellies, bandeds, diamondbacks. I found browns. Haven't got my hands on one. Greens.
I caught a brown in Florida.
Some weird hybrid. I found this massive hybrid out in Florida one time. That was insane. Salt marsh snakes. I found one salt marsh snake in Florida, that was a big accomplishment.
That's cool.
But yeah, no. So I won't find all the nerve yet at some point. So broadbands are on that list for sure.
So we need to coordinate because we need to do that because I'm trying to catch one, man. I'm trying to see some in the wild.
I was just gonna say it sounds like a trip is brewing.
Always, man. I'm always down for a trip. I'm planning. I've already got 2 in the works for springtime next year. One's going to be about a week in Florida, starting in South Florida, working my way up. Hopefully, I got to work out some details with that. It's just going to be straight herping the whole freaking time, man. And then I'm going to go to Kentucky, hopefully see a buddy of mine right when it warms up out there. So. Anything else? I'm hoping Texas too next year. So, Rob.
Yeah.
That's it. Jeremy,
Let's do it. Let's do it. Fucking field herping mania. I've not been able to do enough field herping, and the only water snakes I've caught are northern water snakes up here. And then I caught a brown water snake when I was in Florida when I was like 17 or 18. Those are like the only 2 that I've been able to catch. So I need to add more Nerodia to that list.
Oh, dude, if you want Nerodia, you can just come here. I'll put you on some Nerodia. I got I don't know if you saw, I posted 2 on Facebook I found the other day. That night I had a really good night, and like they were within a mile apart, man. And like one was just like black on top, essentially. The other one was like the bright red, completely banded, and it was just the variation that we get around here. And some of the prettiest red bellies you'll see. We have, in my opinion, we have the prettiest red bellies in the country down here. So it's
Hell yeah.
we have a ton. We have a ton of Nerodia. I've probably caught more Nerodia than anything else next to black race. I've seen more black racers than anything, but Nerodia would be a close second for sure.
Mhm.
I love them. I love them. I have a bunch now. Well, not a bunch, but I have several.
Such cool snakes, man.
Yes, they're fantastic.
So, what does your collection look like right now? I know you mentioned you got some carpet pythons, you got some Nerodia. You've been picking up a couple more rat snakes. You're big into the U.S. rat snakes. What you got? What you got?
Well, so as far as like pythons go, like carpet pythons more than anything, and more specifically, like I said, the West Poplins or IJs, Green Giants, whatever you want to call them.
Yeah.
I have a lot of those as far as carpets go. Pretty much every carpet I have is a poplin, other than I have a pair of coastals. And then I have a lone scrub python who's just he's just hanging out until I either find a mate or, figure out if I'm just gonna hang on to him and move him or what. But he's a dick. Oh man, he's terrible. He is absolutely terrible. I love him to death. Don't get me wrong. I love him to death, but he hates me and he makes me bleed. So he's fun. So he's just hanging out. But as far as pythons go, that's about it. I also have a lone ball python, thanks to my podcasting partner, and
Hey.
an interesting Christmas gift. So
He's like, you know how I like you, right?
Yeah.
Forget about that. Here's a ball python.
Here's
Can't
a
say no to
PetSmart
it.
special, buddy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he's hanging out. It's all Spurgeon. I call him our our mascot for THP. He just hangs out. But I've been sitting on the carpets now for a while. I have a good group. I'm raising a lot up. I have a lot of cool things coming up. You give me about 3 years with maybe another 2 with the carpets, and I've got a lot of stuff that'll be happening. So I'm pretty excited about all that. But again, the biggest focus I have right now is expanding on these North American colubrids. Rat snakes being the main for sure. I've gotten several recently. I started with Apalachicola white oak gray rats. I got those last year, and those just kind of like, I don't know, man. It gave me the bug bad, but I wasn't able to expand at the time because of the situation I was in and all that stuff. So this year was able to and kind of exploded. So those two gray rats turned into also a pair of all my racks right behind me. It turned into a pair of Seminole County yellow rats, a pair of Spartanburg black rats. We got Everglades rat snakes. I've got 2 different locality corn pairs. I have some local Ladies Island babies that Justin produced. I also have Fernando County, Florida corn snakes. And then I got some morph corns from my buddy Chris Payne Shab. There's a little anery project with that. Definitely more into locality stuff. I really like my melodies and monotypes. It's where I started and it's what I love, and it's part of, like I said, going into the whole field herping thing. Field herping, you only find normals normally. I guess in some areas you have morphs pop up somewhere. But I don't know, there's something about the wild types that I think needs to stay relevant and needs to be, said for, you know what I mean? And selective breeding and all that stuff. So that's more my focus than things. But I also have my little projects. But I think as far as rat snakes, that's it. I also have a lone male Hernando County yellow He's just hanging out. I have the two Seminoles, the blacks, and then all the different reds. But I'm also into Pituophis. I have a couple different kinds. I've got porcupine gopher snakes, which are really cool. They're complete psychos, but they're super pretty. They are very, very pretty snakes. But oh my goodness, yeah, I heard somebody say the other day that well, Pituophis are all bluff. They're all bluff. They're just gonna hiss and puff at you now.
Nah, that's not real, man.
No, no, it is not. It is not. I'll let you stick your hand in there and go ahead. They're crazy. So I've got those. Those are probably going to go for me the year after this. I'm hopefully going to cool them down this year to prep for the year after. If we breed those. I also have a pair of albino Florida pines, which are super, super awesome. I really, really like those animals. Really, really excited about those. Those should also breed the year after this. Hopefully the female's kind of annoying with food. She doesn't like frozen thawed. But we work with it. Luckily, I can get live fairly easy, but I'm trying to get her on frozen because, you know. But which is weird because Pituophis are normally not picky about that type of thing. They don't really care normally. Every other one I have, man, I mean, they're psychotic. They're crazy for food. They're so food oriented. It's crazy. Except that one albino female. She ate frozen thawed for me once, then she ate live, and doesn't want to touch frozen thawed. So we're working on her, trying to get that switched over. And then I have a double albino striped San Diego gopher snake, and then I have a triple het San Diego to go with. Those are babies that are being raised up. Another project I'm pretty excited about. So yeah, I think that's about everything. Oh, and the water snakes. Yeah, I have water snakes.
I guess.
Oh
Yeah,
wait,
no, yeah. I was like, I felt like I was missing something. I was like, there's something else that I like a lot that I'm missing here. No, but I've got. I recently acquired. I got a pair of Dixie County, Florida banded water snakes, which are just mint. They are fantastic. I absolutely love those. And then I have now, let's see, I have a pair there and then 1.3. So I'm up to 2.4 longitudinal broad-banded water snakes right now. Which that's a project. I expanded on that one a little bit because I got from unrelated. I had a pair, and then I got an opportunity to get a unrelated group of 4. And they were a little bit stripy, and they throw some weird stuff. They all come from Chris Montross, on which he collected his own stock of those, and they throw some really unique colors and patterns. And the female that I got my pair directly from him our female that gave birth to those she's just this crazy looking purple reddish banded water snake. That's incredible. So yeah, super excited about those. It'll be a nice group coming out. Yeah. So
Boom. Hell yeah.
and stuff. So I've got some other stuff in the works, looking at a few more water snakes here next month, and then a few more rabbits.
yeah. Is there a species of colubrid that's like super high up on the list? Like, man, if I get the opportunity to grab these, I gotta get them.
There's a couple of those. The main ones are probably I'm big into North Americans. I really want to focus on North Americans more than anything, but I do have a lot of the North Americans I want right now. There's still a few other things. I want some South Mountain locality corns from Chris Montross one of these days. I can get a pair from him, and there's a few other locality stuff I want to get my hands on. A lot of what I want at the moment. Some stuff's going to be expanded, but there are a couple Asian colubrids that I really, really want. 2 of which being cave-dwelling rat snakes. I think those are the Reptilia. They are just beautiful animals. I think they're incredible.
Yeah.
And then Chinese king rats. I used to have a pair, and I absolutely love king rats, and I fully regret not still having those. So those are two big on the bucket lists that I want to get. Not as much into the Asian stuff. I like them and I appreciate them. But I only like I'm much more focused on North American stuff. Just because it's what we find. They're in our own backyard, man. And I think a lot of your basic, colubrids, quote unquote, have been getting looked over by some guys for a while, and they're starting to make their surge back. And I don't know. I just really enjoy them. I enjoy their simplicity and personalities and all that. So they're cool. But the Asians definitely have their things, man. You gotta love a big, hefty colubrid. Those just giant, thick Asian rat snakes, man. They're absolutely incredible. I was hooked when I held an adult, about an 8-foot adult Chinese king, man. And that was one of the most incredible animals I've had the opportunity to.
Special.
So yeah, man, they're a different beast, man. They're crazy. So yeah, those are probably at the top. If I have the funds and find a pair, I would jump on some in a second. I think they're incredible animals. Weirdest smelling musk of any species I've worked with, though.
Really? Wait, what does it smell like?
To me, it smells like weird chocolate.
What?
That's what I think it smells like. Anytime I had because I raised babies, a couple babies for a while, and they were very musky, and to me it just smelled like off chocolate. Like it was dark chocolate, but just weird. You know what I mean? Like I don't know if you can picture that, but yeah.
No.
That's the way I describe it, man. That's what I thought of. Like copperhead must smells like feet. Straight feet.
Rob, that's why you like copperheads, dude.
I'm gonna disagree respectfully.
Oh,
I don't know what kind of copperheads you're catching, but
You ever smell copperhead musk, man? It's rough, man. It's rough.
yeah, I smelled it.
I actually found the copperhead yesterday. Now I'm thinking about it.
Most of ours are heading towards hibernation right now. It's like 50 degrees out right now. It's horrendous.
Oh man, it's about prime time here right now. I've actually got some buddies from Florida coming in October 9th to hang out and do a little herping, so that's exciting. But yeah, right now is about prime time, right before they go under. Plus, it's hurricane season, so we're getting a lot of rain, and it's pushing a lot of stuff out. And yeah, it's go time right now for us. But I haven't been able to go recently, and working a lot more, and just staying busy. So yeah, it is what it is.
Hell yeah.
True.
Okay, so from one Morelia guy to the other, what out of all the species, what was the draw to the wet poplin versus the other species?
What was that? You were breaking out a little bit. You said the draw to poplin carpets versus the others.
Yeah.
To me, it was. It was kind of weird. So my first carpet python was just kind of almost an impulse. Because I had kind of forgotten about carpets altogether, because when I was under my parents' roof, I had to get snakes under their guides. It can only be this big and blah 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 blah. So carpets were out of the. I remember I watched this video on carpets, and I was like, wow, that is the most incredible snake I've ever seen in my life. And I started researching it, and I was like, oh, because back then everything out there was they get 8 feet long, and they need this and they need that, they're mean and blah blah blah. And I was like, all right, those are out of the question. And so I was in college at a reptile show, and I just saw this little carpet python, and I was like, hey, I'm gonna buy that, And so I did, and it was labeled IJ, and for Irian Jaya. And so, like, I don't know, I kind of clung to that, and I did a bunch of research, and I got very, very interested in that subspecies in particular. Even though it's funny looking at it now, like I still have that carpet python, the first snake I ever bought. There's no way it's just a straight IJ. There's no doubt in my mind. It's some type of weird cross. It's probably got everything, but you know, guys, flippers, whatever, they'll slap a label on a carpet, call it an IJ or a coastal, whatever, and move on with their lives. But you know, so that animal just kind of hangs out. She's just gonna be a pet. I have no idea what she is, but she's fantastic. She's a great animal. But so that kind of triggered my IJ fascination, and then I just got really obsessed with them in particular. I just like I started getting, because like for a while I always liked IJs. I was kind of messing with some morph stuff, and then I developed this appreciation for wild types, and then selective breeding, and then I saw IJs in this whole new light of selective breeding potential within wild types, because this is just my humble opinion. I think IJs are the most, you know, variable carpets as far as wild types go. I
love them.
I think they're fantastic. You know, you can get them in all types of colors and stuff, just wild type, you know, and I think they're the most variable of any of the carpets. So I just saw a lot of potential. I saw everybody else jungles, yeah, team jungle. So it wasn't my thing. I don't like going with the crowd on stuff, and I don't know. I saw the underappreciation for IJs, and I was just like, yep, that's it. That's what I'm doing. And I just kind of went off with it and got a bunch of different stuff from different people, different lines. I've produced some now. I was lucky enough to get some good bloodlines in and produce some really nice animals. And yeah, just, I don't know, something about them, man. They're great at this point, just because they're just, you know, they're that smaller carpet that's been underappreciated for a long time. They were looked at as the imported dirt carpets for forever.
Too long.
And now, too long. And now they're, everybody wants IJs, it seems like, you know, and which is great.
I love them.
Yeah, man, I think they're great. You know, I think there's an IJ for everybody. If you like carpets, I think you'll find something you like in IJs, you know, at some point, you know, no matter the color or patterns you like. You get stripes and bands and purples and oranges and yellows and browns and tans and all of it, man. So I don't know. I just think they're fantastic animals. I absolutely love them. They're the only snakes I've produced to date. I've only produced popping carpets to date. So, yeah.
I love them. I think when I first read about them, it was like, oh, they're a little bit smaller than the other carpet pythons. They tend to be a little bit more mellow than the other carpet pythons. They come in like a good variety of different colors. There's, you know, if you give them perching opportunities, they still perch and all that sort of stuff. So I was just like, when I heard all those different factors, I was like, man, this actually sounds like a pretty cool species to get into. And then I was just like looking, because back in the day I used to watch the stuff that like Yasser was doing with like the Spitfire stuff, and some of those like just chestnut colored sides that he had on some of those things, and the black on top, but they still had the yellow in them. And I was like, man, that's a really cool carpet python. So I was like, if I'm gonna get a carpet python, it's gonna be one of those. And then I waited until that female that I've got popped up, or she really just kind of dropped it in my lap, and it was perfect, because she's amazing. And like, I don't know, she's like probably one of my favorites that I've seen in a while, you know?
Yeah, no, dude, I know exactly what animal you're talking about. I drool over her every time I see a picture of it.
So nice.
She's phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. I have a female that's like that for me. I'm infatuated with her. She's my most recent mama. I still have all her babies. I haven't done anything with those. I've been watching them. But she is just, oh my gosh, she's just she's a lot lighter for carpet. You know, because your girl is like that, like almost a darker orange, right? Like a sunburn. You know, it's the same color as this, you know, and just fantastic. But my girl, it's like she's almost on the opposite end of the spectrum with it, but like yellow. You know what I mean? She's really light on top, but has like this perfect yellow color to her, and it's just she is mint. She's mint. And then
Hell yeah.
I threw her to a male that showed some nice yellows, and when he fired up, he gave me some purples every now and then. So, but he was a lot busier, so I figured he's a lot busier pattern. She's a little bit more spread out, but they both had stripes going on. And I got pretty much exactly what I thought I would. I have an insane variety in this clutch. You probably wouldn't even think some of them were clutch mates. They're so different. Some are just stupid busy. They almost have like this leopard print going on, and some are just like this super reduced pattern with stripes. And one of them looks like it's like both combined. Like the front half is like kind of scatter pattern, then like the back turns into a perfect stripe down his tail, and it's crazy, man. The pairing threw a very, very nice animal, so I'm really interested to see how they color up.
Hell yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
That's all. That's also the best part about IJs. There's nothing cooler than little red worms popping out of those eggs, man. The color change that they go through is absolutely incredible. I love seeing them when they're red, man. They're so freaking cool. And then just watching them slowly develop out of that, and just start to pop, because they only get better. They don't stop. They don't stop changing for a solid 3 to 5 years at least, and it's still a different snake, because it's weird. Like, I think of it like leopard geckos, the fired up, fired down thing. You open the tub once and it looks one way, open it again at different time of day and it looks like a completely different animal. That is that's 1,000%.
Yeah.
Like it's insane, like I had a baby this year that I opened it one day. She looks pretty, good looking carpet, good pattern. And I was like, that's a good looking animal. Next day I opened her up and she was just purple. No sheds, no nothing, but she was just purple, and I was like, "What the fuck?" Like, yeah, where did that come from? And so I don't know. It's always a surprise looking into my tubs, and I don't know. I think they're incredible. I think they're super awesome animals that are finally getting their time in the light.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Hell yeah.
Absolutely. IJs were the first carpets that I bred, and watching that change from those red worms out of the eggs, that they're like 3 sheds in. You like look back at fresh out of the egg picture and look at what they look like now, and you're like, this isn't even the same snake, man. Like, full change, man.
Yeah, it's wild, man. They get through such a crazy change, and then it's just exciting, man. Because once they get through 2 or 3 sheds, they start losing that, and every shed they get a little bit more color, and and then one day they just pop. Like they take that shed and you open it up, and it's just out of this world, man.
Yeah,
there it do, But I don't know. They're great. They're fantastic animals. Carpets in general are very fun. I think they're some of the best snakes to keep in captivity. Especially if you feed them right. They're not that big of animals, surprisingly. But don't let it fool you, man. I don't know if it's just like in bloodlines and stuff, but everybody says IJs are the smallest of the subspecies, and they are. I would wholeheartedly agree. But I have 2 females that are absolutely massive. You think I have one, my first girl, she's a solid 4.5, 5 foot. Maybe she's slender, she's very healthy. I have 2 girls that are like 6.5 foot and about as big around as my forearm. Like they're huge. I don't know why. I don't know what it is, but I don't know if it's bloodlines or just they promote bigger snakes or whatever. But they are just absolute tanks, like as big as any coastal you'll see. Maybe a little shorter, but they're absolute beasts. I don't overfeed them. They get their rat about once a month, and they ride it out, man. They're just big. I don't know.
Yeah, no, the last 2 female IJs I had were probably about the same, like that 6.5 foot mark, and you pull that snake out, man, you're like, impressive carpet, and like, this goes against what that care sheet said I read the other day.
Yeah, no, for sure. And it was hilarious because one of the big girls is my mom from last year. And I have a male that he sired both clutches I've had. I swear the dude would breed a piece of rope if I gave it to him. But it's crazy. Like the dude, like I've never seen him do it. I've never seen him locked with a female, but he's given me 2 clutches, and then like
Damn.
that, like they were in for a week together, and then all of a sudden they were separated. So I pulled him out, and then she's doing all the stuff, and it was bang, 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 no problems. But he's actually also my smallest adult. Like he's tiny, he's really, really little. Like he can eat a medium rat, but a medium rat is big.
Yeah.
Like he was getting a couple mice in a sitting because he didn't want to eat rats for one. But like a medium rat's big for him. He's a very small animal. So like putting them together, man, it's like seeing sand boas. You know how different sand boas look. Yeah. Or like hognose snakes. Yeah, it looks exactly like that, just bigger. Yeah.
That's funny.
But,
yeah. I had a male that was real similar to that kind of IJ Jag stuff. My IJ Jag, like, and he was 50-50, so you'd expect him to have gotten a little larger with that coastal. The first year I bred him, he was all looking at the females next to him, like, I know they're technically not cannibalistic, but I kind of want to watch this just to be sure. Like he's looking kind of like a piece of spaghetti. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, no, man. I'm always paranoid about that, man. I don't care if they say snake eaters or not. I'm sitting there like I'm watching because, like, carpets are also very food oriented, and like sometimes they'll just strike. It doesn't matter what's there; they see something move, and it's food, and they're going after it. I'm afraid I'm gonna stick one in there and it's gonna get popped, and I don't know. I love all my animals so much. I'm so paranoid about hurting them,
Yeah.
I don't know, but yeah, it's
dude. I've got this one jungle jag. I've bred it for the last 2 years, and it's like until she really clicks in that it's like breeding season and she really starts the cycle. That like first and sometimes the second introduction, she like stares at that male when he's moving in the cage, and I'm like, no. What are you doing?
Yeah,
it never happened, but she gives him that look, and I'm just like, ooh.
Yeah, that's that. Like, what are you doing? What is this? Like,
yeah, exactly. It's moving, but it's out strong. I don't know what's happening.
Yeah, no, I had the same thing last time I paired up. So last time I paired up my carpets, man, my female was giving. She was old, plenty old enough, but she was a first time breeder. She'd never been with a male. And but she was eyeballing that, like her up and down, man. She was at first she was not about it, then all of a sudden they were disappeared in the box, doing their things. I was like, hey, rock and roll.
Yeah. As long as there's 2 snakes in there, the next time I open this tub, we're gonna be all right.
We're good. Yeah. Oh boy. Stress.
Yeah, no, for real. That's why I don't have king snakes yet, man. I'm just like, I'm scared to breed them. I don't even want to try, like.
Dude, Lamprey entire species can be like a heart attack waiting to happen, man. I always tell people at the time when I was still in high school breeding Cal Kings, and I used to pair stuff. I would wake up early during the breeding season to pair stuff so I could watch it, and make sure they weren't going to kill each other. I remember I go through pairing stuff, everything's going fine, and then right when I'm about to leave, I just start hearing thrashing in a bin, and I'm like, no!
Man.
I was working on like the lavender snow stuff, patternless purple Cal Kings. And I'm like, this project cost me a decent amount of money, so I'm like, obviously in general, I don't want the snakes to kill each other, but now I'm like, I've got a little bit of money invested in this. And I open it up and I just see this Cal King just got the other one right by the face. And I'm like, oh my God. No. Then I'm like an hour late to school and they're like, why are you late? And I'm like, you wouldn't believe me if I told you.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, for sure. It's
Yeah, Lamprey-Peltis will give you a run for your money if you're not prepared.
Yeah. I definitely have plans to hopefully get a couple of them. I'm not super into kings. I love kings. I want to find more kings. I don't get to find them enough. I love Eastern kings. I love the Eastern kings we can get around here. There's these big, impressive, animals, but you don't really see them. At least the ones the type we have around here in captivity much. There are a couple Lamprey-Peltis I want to get into, but I still I don't know. It worries me, but. Uh, But yeah, I'm too obsessed with rat snakes right now, man. I'm on that Pantherophis kick, man.
Hell
I'm
yeah.
all about it. Dipping my toe into some Texas stuff now. I've got emeries that are coming, some thorn scrubs, and some of that in the works too now. So
Hell yeah. Is there you're talking about Pituophis earlier, is there a hit species that high up on the list for at least investigating a little more?
yeah, no, there's a couple. I'm waiting on. I'm actually just waiting on several. My buddies got some. That I'm just waiting for him to reproduce. Kankakee bull snakes are at the top of that probably. I love Kankakees. I love black and gray animals. That's why I got my anery project with the corns. I really love just gray animals. I think they're really cool. Because I like
Hell
gray.
yeah.
But the Kankakees though, they're just like super black, and I think they're fantastic, and they look very different. I need to. Oh, that was one thing I missed. I have a Mexican pine snake, a Depi Jani, or Depi Jani.
Jani, yeah.
I have a lone male that is. I absolutely love him so much. He's such a cool animal. So I got him. He's hanging out, just waiting for a female. And yeah, so whenever that happens, it happens. I'm not rush. Just glad to have them. Glad to have the opportunity to get them.
Absolutely, dude. The Jani are
super cool.
That's another
Yeah.
species that color change. It's so ridiculous to see. Like people, when I show people a picture of Jani, after they're staring at an adult, they're like, "There's no way that's the same snake, man." And it's like, yeah, but it is though.
They don't want it as a baby. They're like, because they're not aggressive as babies. They're just like kind of brownish yellow and have some pattern, and like they're cool. I think they're fantastic, but like to the people who like just looking who like kind of appreciate snakes, whatever. They're not the flashy,
Yeah, you'd like walk past
ball
it at an
python,
dry
Yeah.
kind of. Yeah.
For sure. But yeah, I absolutely love Joe's, man. I got Kankakees are probably at the top. And then I'm getting some Colubrids. That's another Texas locality because Texas bulls get just huge. I think that they're fantastic. I think they're amazing. I love big bull snakes, man. They get really big. And then Northern Pines at some point. Those are definitely happen whenever the opportunity arises. Bull snakes. I'm not as focused on the Pituophis as I am the Pantherophis. So I'm kind of taking the pits more selectively and more as they come and as opportunity arises.
Yeah. Dude, if you
yeah.
to work with some black pines, dude.
Oh yeah.
Strong.
Yeah, no, black pine. Oh, you broke out. I didn't hear what you said.
Oh, I said if you get the chance to work with some black pines, I strongly recommend that.
Yeah.
They're like their own little microcosm of Pituophis of themselves. Yeah. They're super cool.
Yeah, I would love the opportunity when I can find some. Those are definitely hard to come by since you can't get them in your state, so it's definitely hasn't been the easiest task finding some in South Carolina, but I'm hopeful that one day I'll be able to find some. But it is what it is. And I'm super excited about the Floridas, though, man. I have some really nice albino Floridas that are just mint. I actually have because like with the albino Floridas, you get them in like more of a red, and then more of a white. I'm not exactly sure the technicality behind it all. I'm not that educated with it. But I have one of each. One's a lot more like, she's got almost like blood red, super nice. The male is just white, almost white as snow, man. He's right up there. They're super cool. I love them.
Hell yeah, dude.
Yeah. Pituophis are, I don't know, man. They're just weird. They're weird snakes to me. I don't know why. Just the way they handle is humorous to me. I've never had a snake that backed up so much in my life.
Yes!
Oh my gosh! I swear they're just like going backwards like the whole time. You're like, stop! I don't do this, And it's yeah, no, it's wild. They're always going backwards for some reason. But yeah, no, they're super cool, man. I love them. I love them to death. They have very, very, very much very big personalities on them.
Yeah.
Pretty much all my pits are very vocal for the most part.
Oh, dude.
Yeah.
Dude,
but I also
had a big bull when I was a teenager. I got in this big white-sided bull female. She was probably all of like 5 foot. But dude, pulling open the drawer, and as you're pulling it open, you hear the and it just in the chamber of the drawer, and you're like, what the hell is that?
yeah, no, for sure. I almost like it though, because like I use my forks as educational tools whenever I can. Like whenever people are over and they want to see the snakes, I always show them the nice pits so they can actually hold one, feel the keel and scales and all that stuff. But then I'm like, okay, now let me show you why everybody thinks these are rattlesnakes in Texas. And then I open up the Carolina gophers and they put on a big old show. They're standing up, they stand up and ass, and they're just, and you'll see them, they'll get so big and then they'll like release every ounce of air they have and turn into this super skinny thing because they letting out every ounce of air they can get out. And I don't know. I think they're cool. They're very. I don't know. I like using them for education and stuff like that, and just teaching people, because that's a big part of what I love is just educating people on our snakes. Some of the big passion of mine. But yeah, no, they're great, man. I love my pits.
I think that's one of the coolest things, especially when it comes to native species. That educational is even that much more valuable, because like this is a snake you could come across right in your yard. To be able to identify that and recognize what it is and how to approach it, whether or not you're actually going to try to move it, to identify it, recognize that it's not a threat, that there's an extra level of importance. This is a carpet python from Australia, and you're never going to see one of these,
right,
or whatever, and they own it,
right. Yeah, no, for sure. I love it, man. Like, I like to use my dad as a perfect example, because growing up, my dad was a very only good snakes and dead snake type person. That's why I wasn't allowed to have snakes till I was like 14, because dad was not about it. He just didn't like geckos and stuff. But yeah, no, he did not like snakes. But now, man, it's funny. Like at work, he'll somebody will call him for a snake because he's shown that he actually kind of knows what he's talking about. He keeps little grabbers in a bucket in his truck and stuff, and he'll send me a picture and be like, "This is a rat snake, right?" And I'm like, "Yeah, good job, Dad." He sent me a picture of a hognose one time that was out in front of a building. He's like, "This is a hognose," and I was like, "Yeah, you got it, yeah." He's out identifying stuff now, and he's by no means a snake person, but it's cool seeing people, being able to identify stuff. And then, all my family members are like, we do actually pay attention to you sometimes. And I'm like, thank you.
You do care.
Yeah, right.
Somebody pays attention to me, But it's great, man. I love it. I try to do whatever educational stuff I could. I volunteered for a home for boys and while I was in college doing wildlife educational stuff for for kids that were in bad home situations, so they lived at the school full time, and so I went there, did educational stuff with them for wildlife because that was my major at the time, and yeah, take every opportunity I can to get my little cousins over and stuff like that. It's a big part of what I love about all this is teaching people.
Hell yeah, man. That's what it's all about.
Hell yeah. All right, so listen, we are coming to our hour mark, which is our time. But before we let our guests go, we always ask them one most important question. So that question is, how many sunset ball pythons are you buying today? No. No, so that
Let's see. 1 to 0. Yeah.
No, so that question is, what in the realm of reptiles, be it something that's going on in your own collection or something that's seen online or just scouring the internet, because that's most of what our lives have been revolving around for the last half. What in the realm of reptiles had you totally geeked out and excited about reptiles?
Like, as far as like animals go, or just like stuff that's
Anything under the umbrella of reptiles.
honestly, man, like that's so hard to answer because like I'm just coming back into this surge of being in the hobby again for being off for a solid year. So like everything's really really exciting right now. I don't know, man. It's all so good. Seeing all the podcasts that are out there, everybody putting in the work to put out good content, and just the feedback that we get on the show, and all the positivity I had with my comeback, and all this surge and loving North American colubrids, and everybody showing appreciation for these obscure species. And I don't know, I just see more and more people starting to care more. Like I'm starting to meet more people that are starting to care more about just keeping animals. It seems like for a while it seemed like a lot of people were keeping stuff that was cool. Like at least on the market, like this is a cool thing right now, I'm gonna get it too. But it seems like a lot of people are starting to actually think and get more stuff that makes them happy. I did the same thing, man. I followed the crowd. I got some stuff, but now it's like I'm going back to my roots and getting the stuff that makes me truly happy and excited. And I see more and more people doing that, and just like keeping these simple species that aren't flashy, but they keep them because they're cool, because they're an original species for them, and it kind of brings them back home. And seeing more and more of that just makes me happy. And I'm on fire for the whole hobby right now. I'm so excited for all of it, everything coming up, and all the shows and everything we got in the works. So.
Hell yeah, that's what it's all about, right there.
Oh yeah, man.
Absolutely.
I'm about it. All right, man. So if people want to find out more about you and the things that you're doing, where should they check you out?
Longleaf Reptilia on Instagram and Facebook, and then if you want to add me on Facebook, just Jacob Bratz on Facebook. You're more than welcome. But I do a few other things. I've got a photography page. I haven't posted on there in a while. I'm probably gonna include that into my Longleaf Reptilia stuff. So I'm about to start trying to sell some prints of some local wildlife that I've done a lot of photography on recently. To just kind of try and help grow everything I'm doing. I'm by no means a professional photographer, but if you want to check out any of my photography, it's JLB Wildlife. You can look at that. Yeah, no, definitely the best place is going to be Longleaf Reptilia on Instagram, probably, and then just add me on Facebook. So that's where most of the things will be happening. A lot of stuff going to be coming up, a lot more everything. So, yeah.
Then the podcast, you got Herpetoculture Network.
Yeah.
Check that out.
Herpetoculture Network. Yeah, Herpetoculture Network's got several different podcasts. I'm a part of the Herpetoculture podcast. That was kind of where everything started with the Herpetoculture podcast, and which changed to the Herpetoculture Network. And now we have several podcasts, some that are ran by Justin Smith and various a couple other people, Lizard Brain Radio, and a few others out there. So there's There's a whole network of them now, so go check all those out. And yeah.
Boom! There it is, man. This is a fun episode. We got to have you on again.
I appreciate it, man. I was so taken off guard when Jeremy messaged me because I knew Jeremy, you moved to North Carolina, and when I saw you message me saying what's up, I was like, oh cool, Jeremy's probably gonna want to come down and go herping or something. I'm like, come on, man, let's go. Yeah,
Yes,
that was the first thing I thought of. Yeah, man, come on, anytime, man. That was the first thing I thought of, and then you're like, yeah, I mean, I want to get you on the show, and I was like, oh, cool.
Oh shit!
Yeah, I'll do that. You know, so yeah.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah,
I definitely
man.
appreciate y'all having me on. It was a great time. Y'all are fantastic. It was great seeing y'all at Daytona, by the way. That was a great time.
Absolutely, dude.
So,
Hey, man, we got to do some fucking field herping next year. Let's fucking do it. Let's get it done.
oh, man, I'm all about it. You tell me where to go. I'll meet you there.
Let's do it. All right, man.
Hell yeah.
Take care.
All right.
Have a good night,
y'all
man.
take it easy. You too.
Bye.
Boom.
Woo! That was a fun episode. Hell yeah.
Absolutely, dude. Jacob is awesome. He's awesome. I was so stoked to see him at Daytona, like you just mentioned. But right when he was talking about getting the black rat snakes, he was like, dude, I'm so excited about these black rat snakes, man. I just can't wait to get them. And then he finally got them. He's like, dude, look at these black rat snakes, man. And like, I love that. I absolutely love that. Because to so many people, like, that's just like, oh yeah, I find those in my backyard all the time. And he's like got this like fiery passion of just like, dude, these things are awesome. Like, look at, you know, absolutely love that. Absolutely love that.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. That's what it's all about.
Hell yeah. All right. So thank you to everybody who's been here in the chat. We seriously appreciate it. Reminder, everybody that's here on YouTube, you are getting the triple dose of Reptile Talk this week. Friday at 4 p.m. we're talking with John Andrina from Sim Container. It's going to be a great time to have John on. If you're listening to the audio only, that's totally fine. You should certainly be watching us as well. But audio only is cool. This episode will next week. This weekend you'll catch yesterday's episode, and then the following week you will catch the episode with John if you're listening to just the audio. If you're watching us on YouTube here on the Brassman Reptiles YouTube, you will catch us with John this Friday. It's going to be an awesome time, 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So make sure you're there. We want to see you there. And hell yeah, I think that wraps it up for us. Make sure you're watching Reptile Talk or following Reptile Talk on Instagram at reptile.talk. Links are below. As always, support USARC because they're fighting for our rights all of the time. Speaking of which, I will be reaching out to Phil this weekend about doing our initial episode with him as we start to do a monthly or bi-monthly episode with him for general updates of what our cat is going on to help us be able to continue doing what we love to do. So, boom! That is that. Guys, next week. See y'all.
Boom. Later.